Hello everyone and welcome to the video top 10 mistakes players make in the game of Golf Clash with me, Golf Clash Tommy. I'm going to take you through this video step by step from number 10 down to number 1, explaining and describing the mistakes I do believe is most common to make in this game. Please feel free to make a comment with your own suggestions. You might disagree with me or you might agree with me, but you do have the comment section down below for open up a discussion here, and also if you do have some general questions. When it comes to the game, it's very common to make a mistake, especially if you're new to the game, but I will have to tell you, I make mistakes myself, and all other like players that has been playing for a long time do make mistakes sometimes. The important is, how do we prevent of doing mistakes? How can we prevent that in the best way possible, and how can we learn from it? So with these mistakes, I'm not just going to say one sentence. I'm going to show you. I'm also going to explain my thought process, and hopefully this video is going to help you be more accurate, be more informed when it comes to the most common mistakes in this game. So let's start and go for number 10.
Number 10.
The first mistake we're going to go over here is something that I would like to call skipping tours. Something that is mostly common, especially if you find yourself in a way where you're having a hard time to complete a specific tour. You can take a look at the numbers on my tour here, and the thing that I want you to look at is the trophies. So in tour 1 you can have as maximum 20 trophies until you have completed that tour. The thing that happens if you don't complete that tour and go up to a higher tour, and then okay, now we are up on tour 6 playing here, getting some trophies on that one. If we would be maxing out tour 6 and then okay, now let's go down to tour number 1 to try to max out those trophies, that is going to put us in a way where we are going to be matched up against a player with a similar amount of trophies, which will going to be harder for us to get a matchup and give us a higher risk to play against a non-live player, which is in many of the cases going to be a better player than playing a regular tour 1 player. So my first mistake that I would like to address is, don't skip tour and play the tours to its max. If you do find yourself in a struggle, do some more study, talk to a more experienced player on how to complete that tour, then you go up to the next one.
Number 9.
Something that a lot of players talking about is like, how can I get more gems? How can I get them so I can buy more balls, so I can buy maybe a coin package, etc. So when it comes to the gems, those are of course possible to buy in the game, but it's also possible to get them in a free chest. Like for an example here, as you can see on the screen, we have coins, but then we do get a couple of gems. As you can see, that is not much at all. That is what is important with gem management. Gem management means that we're going to get a little amount of gems, like in basically every single chest that we're going to open, and we need that to pile up so we can spend that on something that is important. And important is, for an example, balls. We're going to need to use special balls eventually in kind of tournament or in tour play. So instead of maybe trying and upgrade with the gems, maybe a club that is not necessary. For an example here, it's not necessary to spend gems on the dart. It will just cost you more than it will bring you value. And that is the same for the Malibu and the Big Topper. Save it to the clubs that is necessary to upgrade, like the Sniper, like the Apocalypse, like the Thor's Hammer, clubs that you don't get that often, and the shop is basically the only way to get that happen. Otherwise you will find yourself in the store feeling that you need to buy gems, kind of keep up with like upgrades and buy balls and stuff like that. So use the gems that you get in the free chest in a better way, and that is something that calls gem management, in my opinion, a mistake many player makes.
Number 8.
Some things that I do notice a lot of the time is to see players trying to just finish and make their shot as fast as possible, taking the spin, getting back, line up real quick, and take the shot in like 5, 10, or 15 seconds. We do have 30 seconds, and those we need to spend in a really wise way. If we can do that, we're able to just line it up. We're able to use the system of adjusting for the wind, and we will in those cases be more accurate by planning, thinking, and not rushing, which will keep us in a focused way, getting a ball to the fairway as we want to, instead of risking making a really bad shot and putting ourselves, due to being rushed, by not using the 30 seconds on the clock.
Number 7.
So let's go to mistake in number 7, as we will have to call it. And something that I would like to call an epic club is not always the best club. And with that, I do mean that we do have a lot of clubs to choose between, and sometimes I do find players playing with a club that is just because they are an epic club. Like for an example, as we can see here for the drivers, we do have the Big Topper, the Thor's Hammer, and the Apocalypse. And for those that do not may know, those ones that do have a purple square around themselves, like around the card, that's an epic club. It's always important to pick the club that you have the best stats for that particular tournament hole or for that tour play. And sometimes that is not the epic clubs. The best scenario actually to show is actually during the long irons. Look, we do have the Grim Reaper, we do have the B-52, we do have the Tsunami. Instead of just focusing on an epic club, it's important to take a look at the other clubs. We do have the Goliath, which is a rare club. We do have the Saturn, that is a common club, which both of them are in these stages here of the level of the clubs, better clubs. So don't steer yourself blind on just getting the epic clubs. Sometimes they are not the best clubs for those particular moments that you are looking for. So in the end, we can always choose other clubs to better suit the game that we are playing. So that was tip number 7.
Number 6.
A mistake that becomes more and more common is that you are skipping playing the tournament. For me, that is not something that you should do. You should always be focused on the tournament. The tournament in Golf Clash is often scheduled to be every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's one every week, sometimes it's one every third or fourth week, but often every 2 weeks. The thing that happens in a tournament is that you are going to be able to win a lot of cards, a lot of balls, and a lot of coins. Those balls and those coins is crucial when it comes to playing in the regular tour play. And of course, those cards will make it possible for you to get up there to the level that you do want, which is getting your clubs in the level you want so you can compete in the higher tours. If you would be focusing too much on the tour play here, you will most likely find yourself in the need of maybe balls. You would be maybe finding yourself in a way where you need coins, etc. So play the tournament, focus on that, build your account up, and then take the tour play after that.
Number 5.
Sometimes when you come into a game, like being on the train, you might being just like stressed, cooking dinner, yeah, whatever. Basically, you're doing stuff at the same time, and for me, that is a mistake that not many players are thinking about. Like they do something else, they might not put in that much attention, and in the end, they are not paying attention and putting the focus in the game, which will see many players. Oh wow! Now 7 seconds, you need to rush it. Oh, how to put it right, left, and then go like this, and then and you hooked your shot because you're stressed. You feel the pressure, and you're not keeping focus on the game that you are playing. I know it maybe sounds a bit ridiculous to talk about that, but it is very, very important to be able to make that good shot and hit that perfect button. It is important to eliminate those things that take away your focus. Sure, we can go in and play a game when we are at break at work, or we can and have a lunch break, or maybe just being at home watching TV at the same time. It's all about for ourselves to find ourselves in that moment when we feel focused. That will eventually make us play better. And in my opinion, not having focus on the game will be something that many players have a problem with and therefore lose more games. So as you can see, for us, we didn't pay attention to the clock and we didn't start adjust until we had 10 seconds left on the clock, and we find ourselves in the rough. Impossible for us to reach for the green in two, which otherwise would have been a possibility for a win directly with an eagle.
Number 4.
When you start playing this game, you often find yourself in a situations like, okay, which clubs should I upgrade? Which clubs should I not upgrade? And you often get into that level. I did that myself when I was a new player in this game. I upgraded everything, spent a lot of coins on clubs that it was just not necessary to spend coins at, because as you can see, the upgrades here is going to cost you money. Like for an example, we can take the down in one. It's going to cost us 6,400 to upgrade one time, which is something that is totally unnecessary, because the down in one is a club that we will never use, or at least not in, yeah, we will not use it much at all. That would be different when it comes, like for an example, the Thorn here. The Thorn is a club that we know that we're going to use, and how do we know that? That is by looking at club guides, talking to more experienced players to find out which clubs that is usable for higher tours and also for tournament play. So we're of course going to spend those 6,400 coins on the Thorn just to get that one upgraded, because that is going to benefit us. So again, instead of just upgrading everything, spending a lot of coins, especially when you don't have that much coins in a beginner stage of the game, then it's just important to spend those coins on the thing that gives you some kind of value. So upgrading the down in one, a club that we will never use, there is no value in that. Upgrading the Thorn, that is a club that we're going to use, then that is value to that.
Number 3.
Save your special balls. I see so many players going into a lower tour, like for example Tour 3, Tour 4, Tour 5, Tour 6, playing with a Kingmaker, playing with a Titan, or playing with a Berserker. Sometimes of course those balls could be good to use in every tour, but in lower tours it's all about to play with the less upgraded balls that we do have, like for example the Marlin, the Navigator, and the Quasar. That is not that expensive, and also something that you most likely not will be playing when you come up to Tour 9, Tour 10, and Tour 11. If you would be finding yourself playing with a bunch of Kingmakers, you most likely will find yourself spending a lot of time in the shop having to buy Kingmakers, because you are not getting used to the higher wind that you are going to have with less leveled balls. So then you will find yourself here, and as you can see, the Kingmaker are very expensive. The Titan is not that expensive, but those two balls are crucial when it comes to Tour 9, Tour 10, and Tour 11. So save them, only play them if it's absolutely necessary, and most likely sometimes in a tournament. But other than that, stay away from them, save them so you do have enough and don't have to spend as much when buying them.
Number 2.
Many of the times when players go into a course, they do feel that they need to go as far as absolutely possible. And many of the times that is a big mistake. to be able to get to the fairway, get to the green, you need to stay away from overpowering that much. The problem you have with overpower is it's so hard to hit perfect, and thing that can happen is that you hit your ball great or you hit your ball good, which will potentially put yourself in the rough and give yourself an impossible way to go for the green in one. So never try to overpower if you are not absolutely necessary to do so. The thing you could do instead, check the course, put yourself on fairway, put yourself on green, make your opponent work for the win.
Number 1.
As for the biggest mistake I do believe most players make, and also the mistake that is the hardest one, sorry, not the hardest one, but at least the toughest one to make, and that is spending coins on tours, on upgrades that is not necessary. The thing I'm talking about is bankroll management. Take a look here at the screen. We do have 111,000 coins here, which tells us that okay, we can't play the higher tours, we cannot play tours that cost like 100,000, we don't even have it unlocked, but we also can't play tour 6 that cost 30,000. The reason for that is that when we only have less than 4 buy-ins, like entry fee 30,000, 30 times 4 is 120,000 coins. When we don't have at least 10 to 15 buy-ins of the tour that we're going to play, then we're risking the coins big time. There is nothing worse than going up to a tour, coming up to tour 6, tour 5, then have to start over to tour number 1 again, because we're getting too greedy and not thinking about that we need a specific amount of coins to be able to lose on a new tour. Because every time you go up to a new tour, you do get to play new courses and new courses which will take some time to learn, not something we can just rely on that okay, now we're going to win every single time. And we don't want to find ourselves being necessary to buy coin package after coin package after coin package. So think about the coins. Don't go up to another tour until you have at least 10 times the buy-in. So, thanks a lot for watching the video Top 10 Mistakes Players Make in the Game of Golf Clash. I'm trying my best to describe to you my thought process amongst those mistakes that I do present here in this video. We go from number 10 down to number 1. And again, if you do have any comments and you do have any questions, make a comment in the comment section below and I will be happy to respond and discuss that with you, because I might have missed a mistake or so, but these are the most common ones that I do believe the players make in this game. Do not forget to subscribe here to the Golf Clash main channel. Be a subscriber, hit that bell button so you do get a notification every time Golf Clash uploads a new video. Also check out Golf Clash main page on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. So, here in the end, I want to wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.